Okay, if you all remember the Mahavakyas, remember? What are the four, please? Number one. We shall go, I'll show you the small version now. Prajnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. I am Atma Brahma and Aham Brahmasmi. From this, we have this song which I offer to you. Okay, since the hall is not full, we can see. All of you can see this? Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Sathya Shakti. Prajnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Sathya Shakti. Prajnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. Ma Tattvam Asi. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Shakti Prajnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. Jnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Sathya Shakti. All together now. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Prajnanam Brahma Tat. Veda Purusha Prajnanam Brahma. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Veda Purusha Sathya Shakti. Prajnanam Brahma Tattvam Asi. There's another song, new one which I've got on the Vedas, but we shall now stick to the old one first. To the last one. Remember the echoes of divinity? Sarvam. Come on, all of you now should be Veda chanting people. What are they? Come on, let's have it. You all should know all this now. Sarvam. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Next one. Is. Idam Sarvam. I will be thundering this. Ishvara Sarva Bhuthanam. Last one, what? Last one. Sarva Bhutha. Finish it. Sarva Bhuta Namaskaram Kesava Pradigajjati. Hey, come on, man, I expect you all to do it during normal conversations. Dinners, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Isavasyam Idam Sarvam. So, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Isavasyam Idam Sarvam. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. Sarva Bhuta Namaskaram. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Isavasyam Idam Sarvam. Syamidam sarvam Ishvara sarvabhutanam Ishvara sarvabhutanam Sarvabhutan namaskaram Sarvabhutan namaskaram Sarvabhutan namaskaram Karam Kesava Pradigacchadi Kesavam Pradigacchadi Sarvabhutan Namaskaram Sarvabhutan Namaskaram Kesavam Pradigacchadi Kesavam Pradigacchadi. Oh my Lord, you are everything, oh my Lord. Everything, oh my Lord, you are in all I see. Oh my Lord, you are in all I see. The worship I offer to all I see. The worship I offer to all I see. Kesavam Pradigacchadi Ke Pradigacchadi. The worship I offer to all I see. The worship offer to all I see. Reaches you, my Lord, Tattvam Asi. Reaches you, my Lord, all together now. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma Isavasyam Edam Sarvam Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Sarvabhuta Namaskaram Sarvabhuta Namaskaram Kesava Pradigacchadi Sarvabhuta Namaskaram Pradigacchadi. Oh my Lord, you are everything. Oh my Lord, you are in all I see. The worship I offer to all I see. Kesavam Pradigacchadi. The worship I offer to all I see. Reaches you, my Lord, Tattvam Asi. Sure, the rishis who gave us all didn't expect it's going to be such a rousing song here. Worship I offer to all I see. Kesavam Pradigacchadi. Okay, friends, today I was going to cover two subjects today. This morning and perhaps in the afternoon. First, we'll take the lighter subject called who is a Hindu. And then we'll talk about life and death, and whether there's hell or heaven, and where you're going to go, and how you know where you're going to go. All this I'm going to tell you, You'll know, you'll know where you're going to go, how you know where you're going to go. All this you'll know by the time you finish tomorrow. So this evening, so the squeamish may wish to reconsider whether they want to be here. Alright. This is a very interesting, very light kind of topic, this one. It's not so heavy as but it's very interesting. I mean, it shows a fascinating search for the Hindus to identify who they are. Because Hinduism was not a religion founded by any one person. And then you didn't get baptized and you become a Hindu. It is there, Sanathana Dharma. It was there and people were just practicing it, of centuries, rishis. I mean, there's no other religion they knew. That was it. Then there was the northern invaders came and pushed the Hindus down the Sindhu river. And because though they was pushed down the Sindhu river, they were called Sindhus. And because from that word Sindhus came Hindus. The word Hindu is not found in any scripture. So this is how the origin started. The religion is Sanathana Dharma, eternal righteousness. So because there is no particular founder or no date in which, methodology in which you become a Hindu, This became a problem sometimes when the legal definitions began to arise in modern times. So we're going to examine this particular issue. Who is a Hindu? The fundamental question: what or who is a Hindu? What are the basis of Hindu belief that binds or should bind all Hindus? If you're a Hindu, they must have some common. Okay, the Christians, have 10 commandments, what have you. The Muslims, have, their 5. They call this the difference between a Muslim and a mu'min. The 5. That you must pray in the direction of the Kaaba, and things like this. Okay. So what about Hindu? The Hinduism is the most democratic religion in the world. This is the funny thing about Hindu. Hindu is the most democratic religion in the world. How you want to pray? Up to you. You want to put statues and pray? Carry on. Have you know this Carry On movies? The British use the Carry On. The Carry On movies last time. Now you don't see them anymore. Anyway, how you want to put statues and pray? Carry on. You don't want statues, you want to put pictures and pray? Carry on. You don't want picture, don't want statue, you want to put a light and pray? Carry on. You don't want light, you want to sit down and meditate? Carry on. You don't want to do that, you want to stand on one leg and pray? Carry on. You want to roll on the ground and pray? Carry on. You want to stand the head and pray? Carry on. You want to stand the river and pray? Carry on. Up to you. It's like Carry On movie. Why? Why does Hinduism give this incredible latitude of worship? Because Hinduism, the Hindu spiritual scientists realize one fundamental truth. The journey to God is a journey within, not external journey. So, depends upon your character, whether you're a Rajasic personality, or extrovert, introvert, do whatever you want, do whatever you can, but go within. There's no same formula, one same jacket cannot fit all of you. The introvert, for example, give an example, introvert, you ask the introvert to go and sing bhajans and do karma, he'll say, oh, you cannot. I just want to sit down and read and meditate. Fine. But some fellows cannot sit down for 2 seconds, but they're prepared to go and serve and do things, and help the community. Do. So he said, it's a journey within. We cannot prescribe, so we just give you various methodologies of searching. And you find the way in which you want to realize divinity. Not even find and realize divinity. Because the divinity is inside you. How do you open? Remember I told you about the 5 sheets that cover this human, the Atma. How do you unreveal, like onions, the onion peel, you take out this sheet after sheet after sheet. Up to you, how you discover this. That's why you see Hindus practicing whole latitude of prayers, but this particular democracy of Hinduism is perhaps sometimes undoing, That's the trouble. See, sometimes, democracy, if you don't use democracy properly, then you destroy democracy. So today youngsters will tell, their parents, Mama, God is everywhere. Can you imagine the youngster telling, the IT engineer telling his father, son, come to the altar and pray. Why, Mama? Isn't God everywhere? Yes, son. I sat in my bedroom and prayed. Some of your children may have told you that, and suddenly you cannot say because he's telling the highest Vedantic truth. He's telling the highest Vedantic truth, God is everywhere. But you know what's the very funny part of this? Is this. If you go to a pub, you go to a pub. I'm sure all of you never go to pubs, but nevertheless. So you, as a good Hindu, you go to a pub, not to drink, but to drink milk. They may serve some milk there sometimes. And you want to tell your friend who is drinking heavily to give up drinking and join you in prayers. So you go to the pub, like our Swamiji here who's doing, what's your name, sir? Forgot your name. Ashok, brother Ashok. Ashok, he goes to the pub and tell his friend who's drinking, hey brother, come. Why don't you come to the temple and pray? I'll do a special yagna for you. Then his friend will tell Ashok, Ashok, you're a good friend of mine. Brother, in the pubs, more brothers than outside the pubs. Indian pubs, you got brothers. Brother, do you believe God is everywhere? So Ashok will say, yes, I believe God is everywhere. Then brother, don't you believe that God is in this pub also? Ashok said, yes. How can he say no? Yes. Brother, God is, you said that day, the Jagadeesan came and said, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. That means God is in every element. Every element. You agree? Then you'll say, yes, I agree. Element means water element also. Yes, I agree. Now, brother, see this water I am drinking. This God is in this water also, in this whiskey. Bottoms up, I am drinking God. This man sitting in the pub in total darkness is telling that. Yet, he said, why should I go to temple? I can drink here, I am drinking God. Om Namah Shivaya. He'll say that also in drink. The same fellow now, but same time devotees, the man in the Rishi in the Himalayas, sitting down in meditation, he will say the same thing. He's saying, oh no, why should I go to the temple and pray? God is everywhere. He's everywhere around me. This water I drink is also God. Let me drink God. The man in the pub and the man in the Rishi in the Himalayas saying the same words. Only difference is, one is talking from total darkness, other is talking from total light. How this darkness and light, such a fine definition. So this particular utter democracy of Hinduism sometimes becomes undoing when you don't use the democracy properly. You see? No point going, no Hinduism doesn't say I must go to the temple. So people stop going. So this is the question now that began to plague many people, okay? How does the... So, this is, I'm acknowledging someone actually who sent me an email to me on the subject. That's why I picked it up, okay? So I'm acknowledging. What others say, Sri K. Navaratnam of Sri Lanka, who is a devotee of Paramaguru Shiva Yoga Swami. Yoga Swami actually is, was a great rishi who was actually, have you heard of Subramania Swami of Hawaii? The one who, this what Yoga Swami is his guru. That means Subramania Swami Hawaii is guru, That means what a great man he must have been to inspire this particular American, to become such a great Saivite saint, okay. As you know, Subramania Swami Hawaii, is a American, a white American, and he became one of the greatest well-known Saivite saints, anywhere in the world, okay. And in his book, Studies in Hinduism, quotes from the book, okay. He says, Hindus are those who adhere to the Hindu tradition. Sounds a bit like a track session here. On the understanding that they are duly qualified to do so really effectively, and not simply in an exterior and illusory way. Non-Hindus, on the contrary, are those who, for any reason whatsoever, do not participate in the traditions in question. This is the definition. You participate in the tradition, you participate in the understand and participate, then you are a Hindu. That's all. That's what I say. This participation is enough. You see, that's what he's saying. You see. Now, you watch this variety of definitions that come down. Okay, now. Sikh enumerates a set of basic beliefs held by the Hindus. A belief in the existence of God, first belief. A belief in the existence of a soul separate from the body. The body is not the soul. Body is body, soul is soul. Krishna said in the Gita. A belief in the existence of the finiting principle known as avidya or maya. Remember yesterday we talked about maya. Remember I told you about maya, avarana shakti, vikshap shakti. That this principle is there. The great illusion is there in front of you. And the whole problem is to get over the illusion. A belief in the principle of matter, prakriti or maya. That matter and purusha prakriti is separate, okay. That matter exists and purusha, the divinity creates this matter. A belief in the theory of karma and reincarnation. Remember now, this is karma and reincarnation. That means karma actually means action. Okay. Reincarnation, is also this is called karma, but there are two different meanings, okay. Okay. One is karma as action. One is actually what the fruits of one action. The fruits of normally people say action, karma, or this is my karma. Actually, what they mean is this is karma para, means the fruit of the action, okay. So every action creates a fruit. All right, and this fruit pushes you on to this birth, the next birth. A belief in the indispensable guidance of a guru to guide the spiritual aspirant towards God realization. So this, this is the whole concept of guru, okay. That is his. Now Number 7, I believe in moksha or liberation as the goal of human existence. That means you believe that, okay, moksha, that's finally that's a purpose. The goal of human existence is that. The goal is not the money, the house, but the goal is liberation. That actually is very interesting. This word, the goal of the belief in moksha, liberation as the goal, is exact meaning of the word religion. The word religion, as you all know, comes from the Greek word re-ligare. Re, going back, ligare, to the origin. The word religion means re-ligare, going back to your origin. So where you come from? You're not going to come from mud, you don't come from earth. From God you come, from God you return. That is the whole concept of moksha, okay? Back to the origin. A belief in the indispensable necessity of temple worship in religious life. An indispensable necessity of temple worship in religious life. That means congregational worship. This is a very interesting concept. Why must I go to a temple and pray? Because there are sadhus and Himalayas, no, but for the common mass of humanity, what's the purpose? Somebody gave up. In fact, let me not say somebody, Bhagavan Baba gave a wonderful definition of this. He said, why is that congregational prayer necessary? He gave a definition for this. You are in a dark room, dark night. You are one torchlight shining. How much light can you make? If 100 people stand there and shine each torchlight, it creates a huge congregation for conflagration, and everyone is happy. So it is this particular thing of synergy. 1 plus 1 makes 3, 1 plus 1 makes 5. So when in a temple worship, you go there and you see others' devotion, you get invoked, your songs are sung. So the whole thing becomes a synergetic effect, on you. Okay, so that is the purpose of temple worship. A belief in the graded forms of religious practices, both internal and external, until one realizes God. A belief in the graded forms of religious practice. That means it's not that all of you go straight on to university degree. Step by step, you learn. Hinduism doesn't tell you, rush into, whole life is a journey. Slowly go from bhakti to karma, you do that, okay? There's a wonderful definition of this. We'll go into that later. A belief in ahimsa as the greatest dharma or virtue, non-violation. Now this word ahimsa is a bit, is a subject that people confuse sometimes. Everyone thinks because of Mahatma Gandhi's ahimsa movement, where he is non-violence, okay, don't non-violence. People think the ahimsa is only that. No, ahimsa actually is actually not non-violence. The word really actually means non-violation. Non-violation. That means, ahimsa means, the total ahimsa means, do not violate thought, word or deed. To think bad, anger, jealousy is a violation of thought. To speak bad, anger, is a violation of words. To do bad is violation of action. So actually Gandhi was only talking about that part of it. Actually the world understood Gandhi to talk only of that, okay? But actually he meant, then in another higher dimension, non-violation. Do not violate the laws of God from the scriptures. Don't violate those laws. Second, don't violate the law of nature. The Hinduism tells you, if you violate nature, don't go and pollute the country, don't go and pollute the air. Violation of nature. Why should not violate? Because you violate nature, nature will hit back at you. Remember yesterday I talked about the spider's web, okay? Concept, Then, so don't violate God, don't violate non-violation of the laws of God, non-violation of the laws of nature, non-violation of the laws of man. Don't go and break traffic rules, Don't go and, if you don't agree with the law, go and change it, but don't violate it. So these are the things, that the whole concept ahimsa talks about, okay? A belief in the mental and physical purity as indispensable factors of spiritual progress, okay? You must think good, and you must keep your body, pure. That's what he's saying, okay, don't violate, That's why the whole concept of ahimsa is okay, I'll tell you something very interesting, You see, nowadays, this concept of vegetarianism, all right? Sometimes now, more and more the Hindus now, the vegetarians, okay, have, they have this artificial, they have sometimes, they have this, what do you call this, soya stuff, okay? And you go to Malaysia, for example, the Chinese restaurants, they have vegetarian restaurants. You can order, the whole menu is very interesting in the Chinese restaurant. They'll say fried chicken, fried duck, fried this thing, so the whole menu looks as though it's a non-veg thing. But every item is vegetarian, okay, made out of soya, and they make it so incredibly, they make vegetarian prawns, vegetarian chicken, vegetarian kurma and all this. Now some people, who are the non-veg people, who say, hey, Come on, then why you are after all eating what this thing? Why if you don't want to eat meat, then you don't eat this at all. I don't know. You misunderstood the concept. The non-vegetarian doesn't mean you are a sadhu. You still enjoy food, except it is ahimsa is the issue here. You don't kill. Doesn't mean that those who become non-vegetarian, you don't want to have your taste buds die. Okay? No, it means that you are against the concept of himsa, of violation. You don't want to kill. But if the other food is made anyway, you're enjoying taste, okay? So, a different issue. Of course, the higher and higher you become, then, you even taste buds you give away. But that is not the purpose of becoming vegetarian, okay? At the normal level, it is, so don't get confused by people who challenge you like that. Some people do that, hey, what is that? No, you may as well eat chicken. No, chicken you kill. Here, I don't kill anybody, you see. Okay. Here's another gentleman. Long name. Shri Jayanja Saraswati, 69 Shankaracharya of the Kamakodi Peedam. This is one of the great South Indian saints, okay? This is from Shankaracharya's time, this is one of the great people of Hinduism. He is one of the people who speaks, means that's a Hindu law, like that kind of thing, And now he's the 69th one, is still there now. In one of his basic features of Hinduism, he wrote as follows. So I'm giving different snapshots, what people are saying. He said the concept of idol worship and the worship of God in nirguna as well as sarguna form. Okay, the basic feature of Hinduism is this. Number one, idol worship. He's telling now Hindus they worship idols. But remember I told you that you can become a non-idol worship if you understand the meaning. Okay, and the worship of God in nirguna and sarguna form. Without form and with form. Up to you. Depends upon your stage of evolution. Okay. So without form and with form. Nirguna form and with form, okay, with characteristics, is one concept of Hinduism. So imagine now the latitude that gives, okay, with form and without form. The wearing of sacred marks to the forehead, vibhuti or kumkum or whatever it is, okay. This is the Vishnu. As you know, this is the Vishnu symbol, the people of Vaishnavites. Believe in the theory of the past and future births and according to the theory of karma. Cremation of ordinary men and burial of great men. Hinduism believes that normal people will cremate. But great souls, great rishis and whatever, they don't cremate them, they bury them, In fact, seated position like that, okay? They bury them. So this is, some of the great saints have been subject to that. Okay, next one. Again, that was the Shankaracharya. Now we go to this Vishwa Hindu Party. This is your group, brother, I think. The article in the Hindu Vishwa, okay, cites various common definitions include the following. This is February 1986. He who has perfect faith in the law of karma, law of incarnation, avatara. Again, definition Hindus. Can you imagine now, everybody is not talking about what their definition Hindus, okay? Ancestor worship, Varna Ashrama Dharma. Okay, ancestor worship, okay, that means what is the ancestor worship? That means, when at a particular anniversaries of the passing away of your ancestors, you offer worship, to them, okay, the departed souls. Varna Ashrama, that means this is the way, the caste system. Now, the caste system, I believe I've talked to you all about the caste system. I've given a 1 hour session on the caste system last time. How many of you were here when I talked about the caste system? How many were not here? See, so many of you, okay, now I'm not going to talk now. If next time, if you all request, I'll do a special session on caste system next time, okay? This is a very, very fascinating topic, okay? How the whole system has been deformed, by man, and what originally the Vedas say of the caste system. Very interesting. And then this is the Vedas and the existence of God. That is what the Hindu Vishwa is saying. He who practices instructions given in the Vedas with faith and earnestness. You see, no one is telling you must go and get baptized. Okay, so far I can see no one says you must go and be anointed. You just follow this, that you are a Hindu. It's up to you, okay. Practice the instructions given in the Vedas, faith and earnestness. He who does, okay, this is some of the various practices of Hinduism, okay, and who worships avatars and studies the Vedas, okay. So this is the Pancha, for example, Pancha Mahayagna. This is things, the Pancha Mahayagnas here, the 5 great yagnas you must do. We know what it means, these yagnas here. Not just the fire sacrifice, It says, treat your guest as God. That's one of the Pancha Mahayagnas, Your guest must be God. Treat your parents as God, These are the great yagnas of life. The great yagnas, the yagna means the sacrifice you do, or the offering you do is to treat God as guest as God. Treat your parents as God. That's among the 5 Panchamahagyagnas, okay? We'll talk about it now in later more details. He's a Hindu, that's their definition. B.G. Tilak, definition of what makes a basic Hindu, as quoted by the India Supreme Court. This went to court one day. Who is a Hindu? Only Indians do that, okay? To go to the court and define whether you're Hindu or not. The court referred to it as an adequate, satisfactory formula. When Tilak, the court then defined, okay, they accepted his definition. Acceptance of the Vedas with reverence, recognition of the fact that the means or ways to salvation are diverse. Any way you want, how you want to pray, up to you, 1 leg, 2 legs. And the realization of the truth that the number of gods to be worshipped is large. Okay, I must tell you about this. The language, you see, the trouble is now, when you translate, the language gets mixed up. Because in the Hindu scriptures, they don't say God, they say Devas. Devas here is translated as God. Now, and if your mind is fixed to the Western concept, then God is only one, you only refer to God, as God. You don't say gods. You see. So once you translate Devas as God, then you're stuck with a very confusing God. So many gods are. No, actually, so Devas actually means the beings of light. Beings of light are the gods of Hinduism. The small gods are the angels of Islam, the angels of, they're the divine beings, You see, but because you use the word God, sounds so funny, Even there's so many gods are. No, the Devas, beings of light, these are divine beings, as opposed to supreme God, Brahman. And the Western concept, it is going to say God, they mean supreme God, Brahman. If actually you're translating from English to say Indian language, you say God, the Christians worship God. You will say Hindus worship Brahman, supreme God, formless divine. That's how the translation should be, But because of the loose translation, the God became as Devas became God, So then the others say, wow, what a ridiculous, so many gods are you got, This is where the confusion starts, okay? So realizing the truth that the number of gods to be worshipped is large, actually it should be the number of Devas, divine beings, okay? In who you propitiate, but Baba once explained this very interestingly. Okay? He said, no, listen, same as the prime in a cabinet, okay? You go there as a prime minister there. You don't go to the prime minister if you want to solve your problem of land or water or electricity. You go to the relevant minister. Likewise, there are different functional the devas responsible for this. You won't appeal to them, you see. Don't go to the prime minister all the time. Okay? The number of their gods to worship, and that indeed is the distinguished feature of the Hindu religion. Now watch now. What is, so if you want to be, according to the court decision now, you accept, yes, I accept the Vedas. Now, how many Hindus will even qualify for this? They don't know one word of the Vedas. So no, automatically all Hindus are out already, They'll take the Veda and put on their head and worship, like this, They'll take the Veda as a book, and they'll take the book. They'll take the book, and they'll put in their head, and they'll take the Bhagavad Gita and touch in their head. They put there and they put flowers on it. They won't know what's the content, okay? But they worship the book now. So is that acceptance of the Veda? So the question, so many Hindus won't qualify. But we know what it means, okay? Okay, you respect it and you want to follow it even if you don't know, okay? The recognition of the fact that the ways and means of salvation are diverse. So we don't care what you follow. That's why the Hinduism is so liberal. Hinduism is one of the most liberal religions. I don't care. That's why whether you're Christian, Buddhist, doesn't matter. Come on, You're so diverse, We don't care how you pray, Carry on, you pray who you want to pray to. We don't care. But follow the teachings of your religion. Follow the Vedic teachings, how diverse. The realization of the truth and the number of gods to be worshipped. Remember, it is Devas, divine beings. And the indispensable distinguishing feature of the Hindu. That's so very, very simple. That's why anyone can become Hindu. You accept what you're Hindu, So there's no particular. The Vishwa Hindu Parishad. That's just your organization. Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Official definition of Hindu stated in the Memorandum of Association. Now you see, when you if you come to a society now, these are general definitions. If you come to a society, if you want to be a Hindu, if you want to be a member of this organization, you must follow these particular rules. Now this is organized. This is not Hinduism accepting Hinduism as but you are a member of the organization called the Vishnu Hindu Parishad. They have got the definition, their own definition. Hindu means a person believing in following or respecting the eternal values of life, ethical and spiritual, which has sprung up in Bharatakan, that's India, and includes any person calling himself a Hindu. My God, do you require a further broader definition than this? Okay? So eventually everybody, they don't say even born in India, as long as it's sprung from, Swami. So this Vishnu Hindu Parishad, the definition of Hindu is very, very, you can see now, it's very, very broad ranging, very liberal. So virtually all of us can become, members, okay? As long as you call yourself a Hindu, that's it, finish. Okay, I've given you now snapshots of different definitions around the world, some legal, some, from great, masters, what is a Hindu? And you can see now there is no particular one definition, there's no such thing that you must know, anointation, nothing. It's a matter of acceptance and practice, that's it. If you accept, practice, you are Hindu, finish, In fact, if you look at this particular definition, it doesn't tell you must go to temple, If you look at the other definition here also, Tilak's definition accepted by the High Court, it is so broad and so liberal. And that's why I tell you now that this particular democracy of Hinduism that becomes undoing sometimes. When people abuse the very democracy they're supposed to uphold, that's the problem. See, they say money addicted. The bell is ringing when you say that. Now, from the above, the three pivotal beliefs of Hinduism, we look at what can we pick up from so many diverse. So I've tried to pick up some. Okay. Number one, karma. It's a common factor, okay? That if you're Hindu, you believe in karma, you believe in the law of karma, cause and effect. Number two, reincarnation. Remember, as opposed to karma, okay, reincarnation is separate. Karma means you do something, you will suffer the consequence. Reincarnation is rebirth. Now, the concept of karma itself is accepted by all Christianity. You say, as you sow, you shall reap. That's karmic law. But reincarnation is a separate issue entirely. And belief in all pervasive divinity. That God is everywhere. Sarva Bhuta Namaskaram. Remember I told you? Eham, what this is wonderful, what is this? Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. Okay? Now, so now we're going to recap now what constitutes Hindu from all these diverse definitions. Swami, just to bring you up to date, we were showing them what is the various definitions of Hinduism by different masters, Shankaracharya and Tilak and all that, many different we gave. Now we're trying to capture all this, and tell, okay, what from all these different definitions, can we bring some common factors into play? And that's what we are looking at now. This is the common. Okay, number one, belief in the existence of God. I'm capturing all the statements, all right? Number two, a belief in the existence of a soul separate from the body. A belief in the existence of the finiting principle known as avidya or maya, which we talked about yesterday. Remember we talked about what? What we talked about yesterday? Hello, maya. What we talked about? What two Shaktis? Remember the two wives of Maya, or two sisters? Huh? No. Vikshepa Shakti and Avarana Shakti. That's right, Avarana Shakti, okay? This is one of the qualities of Maya, okay, all right, okay, which you talked about. Remember the snake and the rope? Okay, right. And then a belief in the principle of matter, Prakriti, Maya, a belief in the theory of karma, reincarnation, a belief in the indispensable guidance of a guru to guide the spiritual aspirant towards God realization. Like our Swamiji here, he is a guru for many people. Let us, since Swamiji has come in, we should not actually, I should not continue without recognizing Swamiji. Let's all at least chant, let us all chant, please, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, okay? Om Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Some will say, why do you need Guru? Why do you need Guru to go to God? You need Guru even to pass your arithmetic test. To learn 1 plus 1 is 2, you need Guru. To need 2 plus 4, you need a teacher. To go to God, you don't need teacher. Somebody guide you, to make sure, that, because sometimes we think we know everything what is right, okay. So, I believe in moksha or liberation as the goal of human endeavor, existence. I believe in the indispensable necessity of temple worship, religious life. Remember, these are all different. I'm packaging everything together, okay. A belief in the graded form of religious practices. You need not jump from one to final. Just you take your time, step by step. Both eternal, external, until one realizes God. A belief in ahimsa as the greatest dharma of virtue. Remember, I define ahimsa for you already. It is not just non-violence, non-violation. Okay, non-violation of thought, word, and deed, laws of God, nature, and man. A belief in the mental and physical purity as indispensable factors of spiritual progress. Mental and physical purity. That's when the vegetarian food all comes in there. A concept of idol worship and the worship of God in his nirguna and sarguna form. You can worship God in form, without form, up to you. A wearing of sacred marks on the forehead. Okay. But you can see now the definitions differ because, some didn't say this, okay. Some said this, so there are the packages. Belief in the theory of past and future births in accordance with the theory of karma. Cremation for ordinary men like me, and burial of great men, probably like Swamiji will be buried, okay? He who has perfect faith in the law of karma, the law of reincarnation, avatara, okay? And one of the definitions. Ancestor worship, varnashra, this was, remember I told you the caste system business, okay? And I'll talk about it detail later on that subject and another session. Vedas, of God. He who practices instructions given the Vedas with faith and earnestness. Many Hindus will automatically fail here already, because they don't know what's one word of the Vedas. He who practices all this, okay, all right? Shraddha means steadfastness, steadfastness. Come what may. The Shraddha is very interesting. Come what may. That means many people, this concept of Shraddha is like, oh Lord, your will be done. That's it. That's Shraddha. Whatever happens, your will be done. But trouble is, many people, what do they mean actually? They, oh Lord, your will be done. But please do it this way. And if the Lord doesn't do it that way, they may better find some other God, okay, who will do it that way, okay. So that's the problem, So people don't understand the meaning of Shraddha, And, okay, Pitri Tarpana, that means, worship of parents, offering, to ancestor worship, okay, things like this, And actually the Pancha Mahayagnas, Pancha Mahayagna is really common practice. God, guest is God, teacher, father and mother is God, that kind of stuff, okay. Very, very practical stuff, Accept the Vedas with reverence. Here again, Hindus will do that without knowing what are the Vedas. They'll accept it. They take the book, hit it on the head, put flower on the book, but they won't know what's in the book. Except all of you. I have to leave here tomorrow, so that's why I must qualify this. Recognition of the fact the means of ways of salvation are diverse. The realization of the truth that the number of gods. Remember again, this is the key. The word gods is the confusing thing now. Because the translation factor, the Hindus are confused now, okay? Others say, what number of gods? No, we say devas. No. The fact that English language is limited to one word, we can't help it, okay? We got devas, we got divine beings, this is the beings of light, okay? The realization, indeed, okay. Hindu means a person believing in, following the eternal values of life, ethical, spiritual, sprung from India. Any person calling Hindu. This is the Viswa Hindu Parisat's membership qualification. Very broad. In fact, the brother is now having membership forms outside. Okay. The above may be lofty ideals, and many millions of Hindus may not even recognize their religion in the above definitions. You agree, yeah? Many people, what is it? You mean I'm all that? I'm not following 3/4 of that. But that's it, okay? Because of democracy, it covers everything. Now, in all the definitions that have been highlighted, many Hindus may recognize themselves perhaps in the following. So I've given you so many definitions. Let's see now, the common Hindus, and I'm talking about the common Hindus of the world, they may recognize themselves in some of this, okay? They may recognize themselves following, for example, okay, this particular definition by the Shankaracharya may be something that everyone prefer to accept, okay? I mentioned this earlier, I recap this now. Shankaracharya, the concept of idol worship and the worship of God in nirguna sangha. So you can worship with idol or without idol, doesn't matter. Or people go, okay, I am idol worship, it doesn't matter, okay? So guys who meditate, fine. Then second one, The wearing of sacred marks, vibhuti I put a kumkum, tilak, whatever it is, okay? All right. At least I put it when I go to temple. When I go to office, I rub it off. See, Hindus, I tell you, great guys, See, the Christian doesn't mind putting the cross and showing I'm a Christian. Muslim, they'll put the scarf, they'll put this, another, Hindus, when they pray early morning, they'll put some vibhuti. When they come out, because they're very modern. How can a modern Hindu show his mark that he's Hindu? How? So what superstitious it is. So this is the problem. Believe in the theory of past and future births, according to the theory of karma. I think most Hindus, will accept that. Cremation of unmarried men, well, no choice nowadays. You could cremate whether you like it or not, okay? Because there's no more place to bury. And the burial of great men, okay? So somebody no choice, they got to cremate anyhow. So this is Shankaracharya's definition, okay? So I think most people will be able to accept this one. And also this, the late Sadguru Subramanian Swami, okay, offered 9 beliefs as basic summary of Sanathana Dharma, spirituality. Subramanian Swami, he's, I remember I told you, the one in Hawaii, the disciple of Yoga Swami, in Sri Lanka. He, in his, this came out, I believe, in the Hinduism today. The 9 beliefs of Hinduism, okay? Let's see whether you recognize yourself in these beliefs. Hindus believe in the divinity of the Vedas and venerate agamas equally revealed. Right. This is more, I believe the divinity of the Veda. I may not know any of its content, but I believe in the divinity of the Vedas. Okay, and venerate the agamas. What is agamas? They don't know, but anyway, they venerate anyhow. They put in the head, put flowers on it. Hindus believe in one all-pervasive supreme being who is both immanent and transcendent, both creator and unmanifest reality. Okay, I think this, the Hindus will accept that. Hindus believe the universe undergoes endless cycles of creation, preservation, dissolution. Some Hindus may not know this, but definitely that is true. Okay, the great cycles, the yugas. Okay, Sathya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Then the whole thing, the big crunch takes place. Hindus believe in karma, the law of cause and effect by which each individual creates his own destiny by his own thoughts, words and deeds. I think most Hindus, they don't like it, but they have to accept it, okay? Most Hindus prefer that only the good thoughts, will have consequences, not the bad deeds, okay? Hindus believe that the soul reincarnates, evolving through many births until moksha. That's a belief they recognize. Hindus believe the divine beings exist and temple worship, ritual, sacraments, as well as personal devotion creates a communion with the devas. I think Hindus know, that's why they go temple, okay? Hindus believe this. Hindus believe the spiritually awakened master or Sadguru, essential for spiritual awakening or evolution. Okay, some believe, some don't believe this, okay? The millions of Hindus in India, I don't think have a guru as such, okay? They just go temple, they break coconut, throw flowers, and they go home. Hindus believe that all life is sacred to be, we wish that was true. Anyhow, Hindus should believe that all life is sacred to be loved and revered, and therefore practice ahimsa, non-injury, okay? Actually, it should be non-violation, I told you about that later. Hindus believe that no particular religion teaches the only way to salvation above all others, and all religious paths are equally valid. This, I think, all Hindus accept this, okay? All right? There could be fanatics, but sometimes fanatism is driven by an opposition cause and rather than their belief, Sometimes you go to injure my religion, I want to hit you back, that kind of mentality, But basically, you leave them alone, they are all right. Then this Subramanian Swami talks about 5 obligations. Let's examine the 5 obligations he says Hindus must have. If you're a Hindu, you have 5 obligations, he says. Worship. Okay? Either home or temple or whatever it is, offer worship, okay? Young Hindus are taught daily worship in family shrine room. This should be something so fundamental, but sadly, it is not being done today in many homes, The other day I told you, I was so sad, and last Sunday, I went to a temple and I was singing some bhajan, simple, Gopal, 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 Nandalala. I was singing like this. There were a group of youngsters sitting in front here, who were very nice kids, who was chit-chatting with and playing with them, and they felt shy to sing Gopal. They could not open their mouth. Hindu kids, about 10, 15 of them could not open their mouth and sing Gopal. They were singing, giggling away. Parents are singing to glory. Children, who to blame? You think the child to blame? No. The parents have not taught them, to to sing the songs to God. Okay. See, this is a great saying in Shakespeare. The fault, dear Brutus, lies not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. The fault, dear devotees, lies not in our stars, but in ourselves if our children do not know or respect or revere their religion. Rituals, disciplines, chants, yogas, and religious study, they learn to be secure through devotion in home and temple. How wish it is true. Wearing traditional dress. This, dear devotees, should be, I agree with him, wonderful obligations to the Hindus, okay? To be taught daily worship in the family shrine room, rituals, discipline. Discipline is missing now. Discipline is missing. One of the purpose of track, of this traditional Indian culture is to bring back the culture and tradition that are so sacred to Eastern people, in fact, all people of the world. I'll show you one example, okay? Simple example of what I mean by discipline and bringing back the tradition and culture. Some of you here, maybe all adults, even the non-Hindus may recognize this. How many of you here remember a time when if you were sitting down, if your adults, uncle, aunts were sitting down in a room, in a living room talking, and you happened, a young boy walked across, you automatically do this and walk across. How many remember this as a tradition in your families? Okay? Today what happens? Hey pop, hey mom, how are you? They don't care, Whose fault is it? Whose fault they didn't teach the children the simple body language of respect? I still do this when there's a crowd, I just bend down like this. And funny, in Malaysia, I tell you, this happened to be Chinese tradition, Muslim Malay tradition, and Indian tradition. It cut across all three, And it's amazing. I tell you, and we have lost this now. Children not to blame. This is the discipline of the culture, discipline of tradition. What is culture? Culture is not the fact that you have so many big paintings in your house, and you buy big paint, put in your house and statues, That means Hitler was the most cultured fellow, He stole all the paintings and put in his house. Culture means what, The refinement of human personality is culture. That's what we should do, That means, a piece of a rock, you won't pay $10 for that piece of rock, okay? But the piece of rock chiseled and made into a beautiful statue of Krishna, you're prepared to pay $1,000 for it. Is you from that rock emerges the value. Today, culture means the emergence of value within youth, that make them grand beings. Another example of tradition and culture, okay? How many of you remember this? That hardly 30 years ago, or 20 years ago even, if you happen to be a youngster sitting down in a room, in your room or anywhere, even your own bedroom, and you happen to be putting your leg up somewhere and reading something, the moment your father, mother, forget father, mother, any adult, any stranger adult walks in, automatically put your foot down. How many remember this? Right, that's part of our tradition. Today, if the mother is sitting down in the living room, the son will come, hey dad, what's the news, papa? Whose fault is it? Whose fault? The kids taught, and even today, if I'm sitting down, I'm 60 years old, if I'm sitting down there and my uncle, 80, 70 years old, comes, automatically I put my leg down. This is culture. It doesn't demean us, it exalts us. Why are we losing this? Why are we not so? It's okay, we lost one generation. At least the next generation of kids, your grandchildren, put that into them, Simple body language signs of respect. I'll tell you one beautiful thing. This is not even Western culture. Not putting a leg on the table and talking. I saw Gene putting up his hand, Gene Macy putting up his hand. I read the papers recently. President Bush, our present president, your present president, went to his family house one day apparently. I read this in the papers. And he went to in the dining room and he put his leg on the table. His mother told him, put your leg down. His father apparently said, hey, you're talking to the President of the United States. I don't care, he said, he's my son, put your leg down. I was so proud of the mother who did that. But my more basic question is, how come she didn't teach him not to do it in the first place, I would never put my leg up on the table in front of my mother, wearing traditional dress. See, the Indians are very funny, I tell you. You go now to any, you see the Westerners at least keep this. A wedding, for example. You go to a church wedding, they all wear their best suit. You go to church, or you go to even Sunday prayers, Christian prayers. They wear their best suit and come for prayers. Look at the Indians, how they come to prayers. The ladies dress very well. They wear nice sari. The men come what, even to weddings, they don't wear their traditional dress and come. Why? Then how the youngsters follow? And the Western tradition is so nice, Shah Rukh Khan wears it, everybody thinks it's very nice. Why don't you wear it? Shah Rukh Khan looks good in it. Bringing forth love of the divine and preparing the mind for serene meditation. This meditation, forget meditation, who's following Indian? The more Western people doing meditation than Indians. Go and look at any library, you'll see more Westerners writing meditation and yoga than I tell you, the whole thing is switching the other way around. Holy days. Young Hindus are taught to participate in Hindu festivals, holy days in the home and temple. I hope this is being done. Fasting, attending temple on Mondays and Fridays, other holy days. These are obligations. Virtuous living. Young Hindus are taught to live a life of duty and good conduct. They learn to be selfless by thinking of others first, being respectful to parents, elders and swamis, like our Swamiji here. This is part of Dharma. Following divine law. Remember, this is what the obligations, the 5 obligations now that Subramanian Swami is talking about. Following divine, especially ahimsa, mental, emotional, physical, non-injury to all beings. That's the resolve karmas. Third one. Pilgrimage. Every Hindu, young Hindus are taught the value of pilgrimage. Once in a while, go temples, You see, especially if you go to India, you see, recently I have 2 uncles, recently I was caught in an interest. I was so busy, I'm traveling so much. I had to go to Australia for Australian track, on the 15th of January. And I met one of my uncles, he came and I met him at a funeral. I was there and he was telling me, I'm going to India to the pilgrimage. I'm going to celebrate my birthday there. You know how old he is? 80 years old. He and his wife is going for this. They have this, it's called Sangabhishekam. That means if you're 80 years old, you have seen 1001 new moons, they say, So they're Sangabhishekam. They're going to have in Madurai, not Madurai Menachi, but Tirupakundam temple, okay? Murugan temple. They're going to have that, he's going to do that. So I said, with whom you're going? I'm going with my brother-in-law. You know who's his brother-in-law? Another uncle of mine, 87 years old. So 80-year-old uncle and his wife, and 87-year-old uncle and wife are going to pilgrimage, to India. I said, who's going with you? No, we are going ourselves. My son-in-law will join us in 4 days' time. I couldn't believe this, Then I took my diary, looking at it, okay. Then he said, it's nice if you come along. I said, no, uncle, I can't come along. I've got to go to Australia for this track session. And there are 1,500 people packing the halls there. Then I went home that night, I meditated, and I got a clear direction from the God I worship. Go with them. So I had no choice, So I joined them and I went for the first time, actually, after so many years to the pilgrimage. Normally I go to Puttaparthi direct, and finish and come back, And my God, what an experience it was. It was an incredible challenge experience. I'll talk about it this evening when I'm going to mention a program. So it's very wonderful to go to the ancient temples and see, where the great rishis and saints have charged the atmosphere and the environment with divine power, Need not go there, but it's nice. It's part of it. They learn to be detached by setting aside worldly affairs, making God, Deva, Guru's life singular focus during these journeys. Actually, this is very good. When you go for this pilgrimage, you forget everything else. Bhajans are going on all the time, prayers, It's sort of an immersion. It sort of refreshes your mind and refreshes it adjusts, your aura, around you, It's sort of like you send a car to a, this what do you call it, service center, once in a while. This is like you go to a pilgrimage like this, total immersion, sort of you readjust the aura effect around you, and you come back, revitalized, okay. You may fall ill because you go to India and come back, but at least your aura gets readjusted. You may come back with a bad flu. Very practical about these kind of things. Rites of passage, samskaras. Young Hindus are taught to observe many sacraments which mark the sanctity of their passage through life. Celebrate rites of birth. Birth is special rites. Name-giving ceremony is done properly. Head shaving is done properly. All this, step-by-step ceremonies are done. First feeding. Everything is a religious, they spiritualize every phase of a young child's life so that the energy, spiritual energy is given totally. See? First learning, how to write Om, to Guru. Coming of age, marriage, death. So this is the Some families follow this still, and my family follows this kind of things, I hope we manage to continue this after I go. Okay, dear friends, we are coming to a time where the timekeepers are. What's the time schedule now? 5 minutes. Okay. What I'm going to do, I will stop here because Swamiji is going to address us now. So I'll stop here. Then I'll catch up with this. Continue later on this. Let me finish this. What are the 5 obligations of all Hindus? Therefore, number 1, worship. I'm now recapturing now again. I'm recapping what Subrahmanya Swami Hawaii is saying now about the obligations. Worship. Number 2, recognizing holy days, virtuous living, pilgrimages, and rites of passage. Okay? Rites of passage means as you go through life, every stage of your life, some ceremony is done, some invocation is done, elders' blessing are obtained. I tell you, dear friends, one of the easiest way I find. I'm a fellow who can't. I don't like to sit down and pray for hours and hours and hours. Okay? So what I do, I get easy way to get blessing. I found an easy way. New Year, what I do? Firstly, my easiest way to get blessing is to get blessing from father and mother. I used to go every time, and my mother was 85 or 80, she's so sick. Every time I'll go and get a blessing from her. I'll massage her feet, And much of the gift I got from God actually is from my service to my mother was my God. But every New Year and Deepavali, what I do, I'll go to my elder uncle's house, the 80-year-old uncle, 87-year-old uncle. I'll go to the house, I fall at their feet, and get them to bless me. Now their children won't do that. I get that. I say, hey, you fellow stupid fellows, you don't know how to get easy blessing. To get the blessing of old elderly people, revered people who love you, and it's a great. God cannot bless you directly like that. No, through these people, the energy comes through you. So I go and fall at everybody's feet and get blessing. Easy way to get blessing. Another great spiritual master has declared the 3 basic beliefs of Sanathana Dharma are the following. The Sanathana Dharma are following. Number 1. Inevitability of karma in life. As you sow, you must reap. You cannot escape that. Number 2, the fact of rebirth. Remember, see, I'm making the difference here. Okay? And number 3, divine incarnations. Krishna, Rama, all the great, incarnation. Not only Krishna, Rama, all the other great beings, who manifested to guide mankind, in different, it's all voltage. They come in different voltages. Some 20 watt, 30 watt, 40 watt bulb, 50 watt bulb. But all bulbs give light, okay? What is that? If one has no faith in all these 3, he cannot be called a Hindu. This is said by Bhagavan Baba himself. Bhagavan Baba gave a definition of Hinduism, of Hindu. Very interesting. It took me some time to find this kind of thing, he was saying, okay? But he talked about these 3. Inevitable karma, the factor of divine incarnations. Okay, now I'll stop here now. So I'm going to play a game with you after this, okay? It's called like a management game, all right? But we shall stop here for the time being, and I want to now pause for a while.